Robert, what's your take on the current state of the film and television industry?
Right. So it's an interesting thing that has happened recently. I mean, the numbers are the box office in terms of ticket sales hit a 20-year low last year in 2014. And at the same time, the sort of cost benefits are enormous for studios and the financiers, because it used to be when they made a film, it was a film, first of all. They shot it on film. They had to develop it and produce an actual film. P&A cost, prints and advertising, was an enormous cost expense. And that's gone. Now they don't have to do that anymore. And shipping it around to 2,000 copies of this film to 2,000 studios, that expense is gone. At the same time, the exhibitors, the theaters, they're, as I said, 20-year low. And that's because there are alternatives now, which there weren't in the past. And I think, frankly, that's, to a large degree, I think it's sort of a dying business model, the exhibitors, theaters, movie theaters. There's certainly something to be said about going to a theater and seeing a movie and so forth. But nowadays, for example, I saw Jurassic World last week, and I had to go to the theater at 12:35 and pay for my ticket, and it was not crowded, but there was some guy coughing over here and some lady, and it was unpleasant. And if I had a choice to see that at home and pay at least the same amount, I would probably even pay more on my schedule. I certainly would have done so. So VOD, I think, in a way, it's certainly crushed the exhibitors. So that's an interesting sort of thing. But I think the studios are approaching it in kind of a foolish way. And I think about the music industry and what happened there. So Napster came out, right, with the music business, and Sean Fanning said, we found this way to deliver content really simply. And the music industry said, let's bury this guy. This guy's a threat to us, rather than, it would have been smart for them to say, let's work with this guy, period. There's an old theory on Wall Street that if you have a competitor and they're a viable threat to you, you can try to crush them and go to war with them, or you can absorb them and buy them. And it's a much more sensible approach to dealing with stuff like that. And they didn't do that, and at their peril. So there was a lot of damage as a result of that. Tower Records and so forth, it's all gone. And they won the battle. They shut down Napster, but they lost the war. Their music business has completely changed. So I think the studios need to sort of embrace that a little bit better than they're doing now. And in terms of exhibitors, these big chains and so forth, I just think about it this way. If there's a family of 4 people that they want to go see a movie, first of all, to schedule it and to hire a babysitter and to pay for gas and pay for 4 separate admission tickets and so forth, if they have a choice to do that versus see it at home on VOD, that's an easy decision. So I think they need to sort of, it shouldn't be one or the other kind of thing. It should, really think all movies should just be VOD. I really do. I think it's just, I just think, or at least an option. If you want that theater experience and so forth, I get that. Seeing San Andreas on the big screen, give them the option, but it shouldn't be one or the other, in my view.
Because there's a theater near us, which I actually didn't like to go to, and now they've changed it over.
Right.
And now they have this reclining seats with drink holders. No one kicks your seat behind you because they're too far.
Right.
You can choose your seat ahead of time.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it's actually worth it for me. Before, I was like, for many years, I don't really want to go there.
Right.
It's all these loud people and they're kind of rude and stuff. Now I actually don't mind going. Actually, it's an enjoyable experience. Now, I'm not going to see every film there. It's not worth it to me. But don't you think that there's, like you said, it's a magical sort of ethereal experience to be in this like silent theater with a bunch of strangers and see an emotional scene?
I do. I think you're right. I have a theater near me, which is in a small town, and it was shut down. It was getting shut down, and these kids sort of reinvigorated it, and they changed the business model a little bit, and they refurbished it. It's all digital, and there's sort of a nice vibe there. It's not this big corporate sort of, I definitely think, forgive me, if I said that the theater industry is dead, it's not. It's definitely, I think it needs to be changed. And I think, frankly, it's going to get leaner, and the numbers are going to continue to decline. But if they can sort of change things up and make it a more pleasant experience, definitely. And there's undeniably something important about the experience of seeing a movie collectively and that kind of stuff. I just think it should not be at the expense of creating an opportunity for somebody like me who doesn't want to go to the theater to see that same day, day and day kind of VOD. I just think it'll supplement them rather than cannibalize them, their business.